He followed the dog after it stole his toy. What he found changed the whole family. The boy thought his German shepherd turned against him, stealing his toys, his blanket, even his favorite shoe. Every day became a battle, until the moment he followed the dog behind the old shed. What he discovered there didn't just explain everything. It changed the entire family forever. Before we begin, make sure you're with us for every moment of this story. Hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe so you never miss the kind of emotional, real-life tales that stay with you long after the screen goes dark. Now, let's begin. The German Shepherd had never acted like this before. For 2 years, he had been the boy's shadow, sleeping beside his crib, following him around the house, guarding him like he was something fragile. The boy's parents always joked, "He thinks the baby is his." And most days, it felt true. The dog watched every step the toddler took, every stumble, every laugh. He was gentle, patient, almost overly protective. But lately, something changed. It started small. A toy truck missing, a sock gone. Nobody cared. The boy dragged things everywhere anyway. But when the boy's little red sneaker disappeared, his father blamed the toddler, until the mother caught a glimpse of fur slipping past the doorway with something bright in its mouth. The German Shepherd. The first time, they laughed. The second time, they frowned. The third time, the boy snapped. He was tiny, barely reaching the dog's chest, but he marched across the yard with one finger pointed like an angry judge. "No!" he shouted, voice shaky but determined. "Mine!" The dog didn't run, didn't bark, didn't even blink. He just lowered his head, ears flat, guilt written all over him, but still refused to let go of the soft toy in his mouth. The boy slapped his hands against his legs, screaming louder. The dog only backed away, slow, cautious, like he didn't want to scare him. This wasn't the dog's usual behavior, and deep down, the mother knew why. The German Shepherd had a past they rarely talked about. Before they adopted him, he had spent months on the street, skin tight against his ribs, paws bloody, surviving by dragging trash bags just to find scraps. A family had abandoned him, left him on a highway with nothing but a collar. Someone later found him bruised, limping, still carrying a toy he had stolen from somewhere. When the shelter finally took him in, they discovered the toy wasn't for him. He had been trying to care for a litter of abandoned kittens he'd found under a broken car. Every day he brought food, socks, paper, anything he could find, but only one kitten survived, and even that one disappeared before rescuers arrived. No one knew whether it ran off or didn't make it. The dog never forgot, never healed, never stopped searching. So when the boy was born, he attached himself instantly, protecting him, watching him, refusing to let him out of sight. He treated the toddler like the family he lost. But now he was doing it again, stealing items one by one. And this time, the boy felt betrayed. "Give it back!" the boy shouted, stomping forward, his tiny face twisted with anger. He didn't understand why his best friend suddenly wanted to take everything from him. The dog swallowed nervously, turned, and ran. Not fast, not wild, just purposeful, like he needed to get somewhere before anyone caught him. The boy's scream echoed across the yard. "Ma! He take it! He take it again!" His mother rushed out, wiping her hands. "Buddy, calm down." "No! He bad!" the boy yelled, pointing violently at the path the dog took. "He bad!" Those words cut deeper than the family realized. The dog froze at the edge of the yard, tail tucked, unable to step forward or backward. He looked torn, between obeying the little boy he adored and going where he desperately needed to go. The mother sighed. Let him go for now. He'll bring it back. But he didn't. Hours passed. The dog returned alone, panting, exhausted, paws muddy, no toy, no shoe, no bowl. His chest heaved, his eyes seemed older, heavier. When the boy approached him again, pointing his finger like in the image, face angry, feet planted on the grass, the dog didn't avoid him. He simply lowered his head and pressed his nose gently to the boy's knee, as if apologizing, but not regretting. Something was pulling him away from the family. Something important. Something he refused to give up, no matter how the child screamed or how the parents scolded. But no one knew the truth yet. No one knew he had been sneaking out to care for a stray hiding behind the shed, weak, starving, too scared to show itself. And the German shepherd wasn't finished, not even close. Tomorrow, he'd steal again. And that was the day the boy would finally snap and follow him. The next morning, the boy woke up already angry. He didn't look for cartoons, didn't ask for breakfast. He stood at the back door with his fists balled, staring at the German shepherd like he'd been waiting all night to settle the score. The dog sat on the lawn a few feet away, eyes lowered, tail still. It was the most careful he had ever looked around the boy, as if every tiny movement might set him off again. When the mother opened the door, the boy burst outside without warning. "No take!" he yelled, marching across the grass with the same accusing finger he used yesterday. The dog stepped back once, but the boy kept coming, face red, breathing fast. "No take! Mine!" The dog didn't bark, didn't defend himself. Instead, he slowly turned, grabbed the boy's small blanket lying near the swing, and ran, just like that, right in front of him. Again. The boy froze for a second, disbelief crashing into him like a wave. Then he screamed, a loud, raw sound that didn't match his size. He stomped his feet, grabbed a little plastic rake, and threw it on the ground. "Bad dog! Bad!" But this time he didn't stop there. He followed. He ran after the dog, stumbling, panting, tripping, getting up again. His small red shoes slapped against the ground as he chased the German shepherd across the yard, past the flower bed, toward the back fence where they rarely went. The dog slowed down, glancing behind him every few steps, making sure the child didn't fall too hard. It was almost like he wanted him to follow, but didn't want him to get hurt. Still gripping the blanket in his mouth, the dog squeezed behind the old shed. The boy hesitated at the narrow entrance. It was dark, muddy, and smelled like wet wood, but he pushed through anyway, crawling on hands and knees until he emerged into a tiny hidden corner. That's when he saw it. The pile, the stolen stash, his toy truck, his red sneaker, his teddy, the snack bowl, even one of his tiny shirts, all arranged around a small towel that definitely wasn't theirs. The boy stepped closer, lip trembling. "Why?" he whispered, not angry anymore, just confused. And then something moved, a tiny whimper, a soft squeak, barely a sound. The boy's eyes widened as a tiny stray puppy, no bigger than his mother's slipper, lifted its weak head from under the towel. Its ribs showed. Its fur was dirty, patchy, trembling. And beside it was the blanket the German shepherd had brought today, folded around it like a shield. The boy gasped, stumbling backward. His little mouth dropped open as he stared at the tiny creature. The puppy took a shaky breath, then curled closer into the blanket, as though the scent of the boy made it feel safer. The German shepherd stepped beside the boy and nudged him gently with his nose, pushing him forward, asking him to understand. It clicked. The boy wasn't stupid. He saw the shaking puppy. He saw the soft towel. He saw the toys arranged like comfort. And he understood. Not fully, but enough. "You... helping," the boy whispered, voice softer than ever. The German shepherd whined and lowered his head, pressing it gently against the boy's shoulder. The boy didn't push him away. He simply stared at the puppy, his anger melting into something completely different, something quiet and innocent. He knelt down slowly and placed his tiny hand on the blanket. The stray flinched, then relaxed when the dog gently nudged it closer. The mother's voice came from behind the shed. "Honey, where are you?" She pushed aside the plank, expecting a mess, maybe broken toys, mud, chaos. But her eyes widened when she saw the tiny stray curled in the nest of stolen boy items. For a moment she didn't move, didn't breathe, didn't blink. "Oh my God," she whispered. "He was taking care of it?" The boy nodded proudly, as if he discovered the moon. "Doggy, making baby okay." She placed a hand over her mouth, lost for words. The German shepherd stepped protectively in front of the stray, ears forward, stance steady, not aggressive, just firm. The mother's eyes softened. You've been feeding it? Keeping it warm?" The boy crawled closer to the puppy and stroked its tiny head. "Mine," he whispered, not claiming ownership, but claiming responsibility. The German shepherd relaxed, truly relaxed, for the first time in weeks. The mother wiped her eyes. "Okay," she whispered. "Let's take it inside. Let's clean it. Feed it properly." The boy looked at the dog. The dog looked at the boy. And for the first time in days, the boy smiled at him. A real one. As the mother carried the stray inside carefully, the German shepherd walked beside her with a pride that made his tail lift again. The boy walked on the other side, holding his teddy. And for once, he didn't mind sharing. When they reached the back porch, the boy looked up at the dog and whispered the first kind thing he'd said all week. "You good dog." The German shepherd leaned down and nudged the boy's cheek gently. And just like that, the whole house changed, because the boy didn't just gain back his toys. He gained a new friend. And the dog? He finally saved someone he couldn't lose. If this story touched you, don't leave yet. There's more ahead, more heart, more loyalty, more moments that hit deeper than words. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss the next story that'll stay with you long after it ends.